The height of a child is influenced first by the genes that they receive from the parents. So that means a child will almost be in the middle of the height of the father and the mother. Another factor that influences the child's height is the nutrition they receive, because food is important for growth. So when the child receives all the nutrients that they need, they are able to grow and increase in height. Third factor about height increase is that sleep is very important for the child. When the child is asleep, that is when the body produces growth hormones that are able to stimulate the increase of their height and their general growth. And the fourth thing would be exercise and physical activity. When the child goes out, plays and exercises and is physically active, then the bones are strengthened and they are able to increase and to grow in height as a result. The child increases height in 4 different stages. The first stage is while they are in the mother's womb, which is called the fetal stage. That is where the child grows rapidly and it determines the height of the child. When the baby is born, their weight at birth will actually influence how tall the child grows. Another stage of height increase is during the infancy. That is the period between 0 to 2 to 3 years old, when the child is also growing very rapidly and the bones are forming and becoming stronger by day. The next stage would be throughout their childhood. They will be adding their height slowly by slowly, though not very rapidly, but it's a steady increase. And then the most rapid of growth again will happen at puberty. And this is when the child now finally gains their adult height. Probably by the age of 16, the girls would have already reached their height, and by the age of 18, the boys will have reached their adult height. Important is that to appreciate that the child grows from the day of conception to their puberty. So the first thing would be as a mother to provide the nutrients necessary for growth when the child is still in the womb. First, it will be important to provide folic acid even as a mother, that it's going to help the child to grow. Another thing about height, well, they are in infancy. And so in this period, it is important to provide the nutrients that are needed, like calcium, so that the baby is able to have enough nutrients for the bones to form. But calcium is not absorbed in the body by itself. It needs the help of vitamin D. So the parents should provide vitamin D for the baby, and this can be done by taking the baby outside to sunbathe, or if not possible, you can offer supplementation to the child of vitamin D to enable the absorption and the utilization of calcium in the body. The third thing that should be done by the parents would, I would say, is to ensure that the child has good sleep. Children normally would just sleep, but sometimes because of a disease or not feeding well and everything like that, the child may end up not sleeping well and not gain the weight. Research actually has shown that children who have less hours of sleep end up being stunted as adults. So it is important for you as a mother or as a caregiver to ensure that your baby has enough sleep. For children that are newborns, actually it could take even up to 18 hours of sleep, and it is important for you to provide environment that will enable your child to sleep. And then finally, I would encourage parents to let their children go out, play and be active. Because the bones, when they are exercised, they become stronger, and the more they become stronger, then the baby is able to grow. In such a case, I would say the cause maybe is that the child is not either receiving calcium in enough quantities, or the child is not absorbing the calcium as they should. So that means there's something that is inhibiting the calcium absorption in the system. And another thing would be vitamin D. If your child does not have vitamin D, then they are not able to absorb calcium. As much as you provide the calcium in food, without vitamin D, calcium will not be absorbed and used by the baby. Attention first should be paid to their vitamin D. Are they receiving vitamin D? Do they have enough of vitamin D? So providing the child with vitamin D is a sure way of having them to absorb the calcium that is in the food. Another thing to pay attention is the nutrients that you're providing your baby with, because as I said, when a child takes calcium in a form that is not able to be absorbed, then they will miss it. So the fat structure in the milk that the baby is taking is very important for calcium absorption. If your baby uses infant formula, then I would advise that the infant formula be made with a premium fat blend like the OPO, which encourages the absorption of calcium by the baby. Stunting is defined as the child being shorter for their age. And so you will know that your child is stunted if they are short for their age. And this is provided by the guidelines, the WHO and the CDC guidelines. Stunting mostly is as a result of undernutrition. That means your child is missing the proteins and the energy they need to grow. And so it is important that you provide your child with all the nutrients they need from the time they are in the womb throughout to the time that they are in their teenagehood. They need to have all the food that they must have. And the most important thing also is to provide calcium for your child and to ensure that the milk you're giving your child is not compromising the absorption of calcium, but rather it is promoting the absorption of calcium. Also, ensure that your child sleeps. It is very important that the child has good sleep. And when the child sleeps, then they are able to produce growth hormones which will stimulate their growth. But if they don't have enough sleep, then it's going to be issues. Pure Lac helps children to increase in their height because it has the premium fat blend that enables the body of the child to absorb the calcium that it needs. Another thing about Pure Lac is that it provides all the nutrients in the right quantities and in the best quality that will enable the child to be able to grow and meet all their nutritional requirements for their growth.